you are a unicorn. You are converting your live webinars at 44%. Your lowest show up rate for your webinars is 60+%.
I never promote my webinars earlier than 10 days before. I never offer any replays. Never, ever.
You spent a whopping $3,000 to generate an amazing dollars plus in revenue. I want to know what you're doing and how you are doing it.
So many things. I will try to take out the best parts.
That was Emelie Bernborg, and she runs Fearless Focus out of Sweden and is a unicorn in our world. She gets 44% live webinar conversion plus 60% show up rate, and her last campaign turned $3,000 in ad spend into more than $50,000 in revenue. Today, she's talking about the 10-day promo rule that protects her show up rate, the 4-angle ad framework that she uses, and the mindset shift that pulled her out of a 6-month post-launch ghost. And wait until you hear about what she says about working 4 to 5 hours a day with 3 kids under 6. It is a great episode. Let's get into it. Emelie, welcome to HQ.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm just going to get right to it. You are a unicorn. Number one, you are converting your live webinars at 44%. Number two, your lowest show up rate for your webinars is 60+%. I want to know what you're doing and how you are doing it. So before we get into it, let's give everybody some context. Who is it that you serve in your market?
So I serve people who sell digital offers in any way. So it's membership owners, it's course creators, and I help course creators and membership owners who are stuck in the launch carousel that wants to get out and get more evergreen automations and be able to just stop launch all the time.
And you, for a long time, have mastered these skills because you were serving a photography market in Sweden.
Yes.
And you dominated that whole niche in that market. And now you've started to branch out and help a lot more digital creators. And I am just floored by your numbers. And I'm kind of privy to it because you're in our Connect Mastermind and you are so generous and gracious in sharing with the group. And every time I'm just like, how is she getting these numbers? Like, this is ridiculous. So I want to break this whole process down. What you're doing, how you're doing it, and how we can replicate those results. So just talk us through first. Let's start with, let's say, your live webinars. When you are getting 60+% show up for your live webinars, how are you doing that? Because show up rate is something that so many people struggle with. So I want to know what your secret sauce. How are you getting 60+%?
First thing is that I never promote my webinars earlier than 10 days before. Okay. So I don't want people to get it too much in advance because then they will forget about me and they won't show up. If I promote it earlier than 10 days, I will have a much lower show up rate. So I try to keep it like 10 days is my sweet spot. So that's number one. The second thing I do is that when I promote my webinar, I do it with ads, of course. And then I also use ManyChat for my organic, like my current followers. And I also added for the ManyChat automation, you could add so they will get a message when the webinar is getting closer. So I will send them a reminder like 2 days before the webinar, and then I will send them a reminder the same day and then like 10 minutes before.
And this is all through ManyChat?
Yes. So they will get an Instagram DM from me saying like, hello, it's soon time for the webinar. And that it's so much more powerful than an email because emails get lost and texts are really good as well. But I think in Sweden, we have different rules with text. So I think ManyChat is better for us in our...
And I want to pause right there because when most people think of ManyChat, they're thinking, okay, I'll have a reel or a carousel with a call to action, and then somebody will put in the word in the comments, and then I send them the thing or I add them to the email list. But they're not thinking about using ManyChat to send broadcast messages to those people. And this is a huge distinction. And you're saying, why not use it to get people to your webinars?
Yeah. So people are very distracted these days. So it's so good to have different kind of reminders because some people are in their email box, some people are on Instagram. So I think it's good to just have many reminders for them. Another thing is that when you are preparing them for the webinar, to not just send out reminders like, soon it's time for my webinar, here are the details. I mean, you need to make them feel they really want to come. Not that they feel pressured, because one of the things I also do is I never offer any replays. Never, ever. So,
and do you tell them that up front?
Yes. A lot of times.
Okay.
A lot of times, like, remember, me like threatening them.
This is live only.
Yes, live only. I'm communicating so they would feel that they really want to show up. Not like they feel like they have to, but I'll explain why they need to show up because they really need to get this problem solved.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is that in the reminders that you are sending, whether it be via email, whether it be via ManyChat, it's not just the information of here's the date, here's the time. You're giving them a reason why they should show up. So talk me through this. Like what specifically are you saying? Like how are you making it so that they want to be there?
So I use different kind of values because all customers respond differently to messaging. So like one pillar that I'm using is the more emotional one. So I will talk more about what will happen if you don't solve this problem? What will it lead to? If you're a business owner and you don't get your digital offer out there, you will eventually just keep trading all time for money and you will get exhausted and you will get burnout and you will argue with your partner, scream at your kids, sleep bad. So I will tell them like the consequences of not getting the problem solved, basically. And the other thing is that I also talk for those with more hard values that get excited about numbers, because some people are more excited about numbers rather than the emotional part. Some people are more like they want it straight,
I exchange this amount of time and I get this amount of value back.
Exactly. So I will tell them like one example that I do in the webinar is that I'm asking them like how many people are visiting your profile the last 30 days? And they will say like, oh yeah, I have 1,000 people who visited. That's very low, but most often it's more than that. And then I tell them like, what if just 1 or 2% would buy your offer, your mini product that you offer for like $20 or $30? How much would that make? Like, how much would that be? And they will realize that this is not only me teaching them, like they're not just relying on my numbers. This is their numbers.
It's real for them.
It's real for them.
Yeah.
So I will talk them through that and also like showing them what's possible. And I also try not to talk a lot about my numbers because I've made millions from my courses, but they cannot relate to that. So I try not to talk too much about that in the beginning because they will just feel like disconnected to that information. So I will keep it very simple. And also I use a lot of social proof. So I will like, instead of me telling them, you will be able to make this amount of money, I will tell them, this is Sandra. This was her first launch and she managed to do this. And I will also like, when I ask Sandra to create the social proof for me, I will also ask her to like, can you also have this in mind that the people that are struggling and have the pain points around that, they will feel hesitant about not having enough followers or not having enough time. So if you felt like my course could help you, even though you had few followers and not too much time, can you please like take that include that into your social proof? So I will tell them like, I know that you're tired, I know that you're overwhelmed and exhausted, but what if only you gave me 1 hour, you could get those results that like Sandra had.
Right.
Instead of me just like trying to convince them.
So the emails itself are not just here's the date, here's the time. There's much more emotion. There's much more almost like selling of why this exchange of time is valuable and is important. And then you also talked about there being a consequence of not showing up. If they've got this problem and they don't solve this problem's not going to solve itself. And it's actually probably going to compound and get worse.
Yeah.
And you're not camping out there, but you're making them aware of the fact that it's important to solve this problem today.
Yeah, because people are very afraid of change. Like in general, we are like framed to not do new things. That's how we work.
We were just talking about this with our kids.
Yes,
exactly. Like moving and so forth. Yeah.
So they're afraid of change, but they're also very afraid of being stuck. Like, what if another year will come and you didn't do the change? You're just at the same place as last year.
Yeah.
That's horrible. That's even worse than making the change, right? So I think that's also good to remind them. But everything is about how you frame it. So you don't want to be like the sleazy salesman, the vacuum cleaner that we joked about before, but doing it in a language that they will communicate with. So you need to be able to learn how they communicate.
Right.
So it's not like this professional language. You need to talk to them like they would talk to a friend.
And I think this is really important because I know that the majority of email communication leading up to a webinar is very administrative. It's just like the admin details of when the webinar is and what link to click. But it very seldom has a focus on why this is important to show up.
Exactly.
And so for somebody who is listening to this and they're like, man, I am not getting a 60% show up rate. I'm going to start applying what Emelie's talking about. What do you think the first steps they should take would be? Hey, real quick, Emelie's about to walk through the exact webinar system that converts at 44% live. And I know you might be watching this somewhere where you can't take notes. Maybe you're in your car, on a run, or at the gym. Well, don't sweat it, because I put together the notes for you. Her 44% live conversion webinar system, her 4-angle ad framework, and her 10-day promo window are all linked in the resource in the description. So just sit back and enjoy the conversation.
So the first step will be to learn about your client, like for real. So I'm talking about what is, I will say her, but it can be, of course, any gender, but what is her identity? What is she trying to achieve? How does she want people to look at her and talk about her? That's one very important key. And also, like, what is her current situation and how does she feel? What will happen if she doesn't change? What is like her dream picture, like the dream day? How does that look like? So you need to make all of those things clear, super clear, because I've been teaching thousands of like business owners who said to me, oh, Emelie, but I know who my ideal client is. Like I have a super clear picture. And then I'm like asking them, okay, so what is her identity, or how would she describe her problem to her friend? And they have no idea. So they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, so you don't know about your client. You need to get very specific, because when you know those stuff, it will be so much easier for you to just put that into your emails and communicate that. Let's say you have 4 or 5 different reminders for the emails. You can have like one email is more emotional. One email is more like the numbers. One email is more FOMO, like reminding them of the replays not existing. So you just like do different angles because they will respond differently. Also talk about when you started. That's also very powerful for them to hear. Like, she was just like me. No one showed up. Yeah, because I've had webinars where no one showed up. And I think that we need to be able to talk to that as well, about that as well.
Okay, I want to move from show up to the actual presentation itself.
Yes.
44% conversion on a webinar is ridiculous. And so what are you doing in your presentation that leads to that kind of conversion?
There's so many things. I will try to take out the best parts of it. During the intro, I always try to include them with a simple question, like, where are you from? What business do you serve? Or stuff like that. I also have like a contest for them. So the 3 most active people will win a small digital gift. So that's
interesting.
That's also a game changer, because they're so sweet, because they always try to be active. Like when I'm presenting the prize, they try to find something to say because they want to be active, So they will be like, oh, the prize is so good, because they know that there's a gift for them if they're active.
You have a contest for 3 winners.
Yes.
That's given to the most engaged people that are watching and listening.
And you need to do it manually because there's no function in Zoom or...
And so for them, they're like commenting, they're engaging, they're interacting. And we know that the more someone interacts and engages, the higher the conversion rates will be, because they're more invested in listening and watching and paying attention. Like half this game is just literally like MacGyvering the whole environment to get people to pay attention. Like that's it. Like if people just pay attention, a lot of things take care of themselves. And so I love this, that you right from the outset are saying, hey, listen, there is a prize that's going to be given to the top 3 people who are most engaged and active in the chat. So if I'm asking questions, answer questions. If you see a comment you like, make sure you comment back. So you're encouraging this. And do you talk about the prize? Do you talk about this way up front? Like when are you introducing this?
So after the intro, where I normally also like confirm their pain points, and I'm like, this is normal. Like all of the people in your industry are feeling like this. And I'm also asking them that, do you recognize yourself in this? So then I'm moving on to like the sharing content part. And usually I don't share that much knowledge or content during the webinar. It's like I try to keep it simple so they feel like they learn something valuable, but they don't get overwhelmed. Because that's one of the biggest mistakes I see with business owners. They are just getting so much stuff in, and the webinar is like over 1.5 hours and people are just dropping off. They're overwhelmed. They're like, it's too much, you know.
Yeah.
It's a big mistake and a very common mistake. I make it also after I'm sharing content, I transition into talking about the offer. And one thing that I do that's really important for me, and I also think is a big part of my conversion rate, is that I try to make it their decision. And also I try to frame a question so they will answer themselves that it's worth it. So, for example, what I said before with check your profile, how many people visited your profile. So when they see that, okay, but I could get easily like $1,000 per month from this mini offer that I can create with Emelie's framework, it becomes their decision. It's not me trying to convince them like, this is so worth the money. It's only $270, you know? It's like they will understand that it's worth the money because they replied to it themselves.
They've done the math.
Yes.
And it's become real.
Yeah.
That this is not only possible, but it's possible for them. And it's possible for them right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's not just some random like Sandra. Sandra did this. And they're like, but I'm not Sandra. But I will show them like with your numbers, you could create it. And also I don't say it like that. I ask them, do you think it's possible for you to sell 10 mini products of the price of $27 to be able to cover this investment of the course?
Yeah.
I don't say it's worth it or that they are able to it. I ask them, do you think it's possible?
And that word is really important. Is it possible? Anything is possible.
Yeah.
So of course the answer is going to be yes. Is, listen, at some point in time, somebody asked the question: is it possible to put human beings on the moon?
Yeah.
It's possible. I mean, it's not being done right now, but it's possible.
Yeah.
And then it happens. And so like that is such a powerful question because the answer is always going to be yes.
Yeah.
It's possible. I may not know exactly how, but it's possible.
Yeah, for sure. So I make it their decision, and also I make sure that I handled all their objections up until I present the price. So whenever the price is coming in the presentation, it's already taken care of. So
talk to me about that. Like, what do you mean? Like, how are you handling the objections beforehand?
Yeah. So before I get into the sales pitch, I will call them out on their biggest objections. Like, I don't have a big following. I don't have much time. I don't know which subject I'm going to teach yet. I don't have any course platform. So I will include that into my content, or I will do a slide. I know what you're thinking. I don't have enough time. What if I told you could create this for less than 48 hours? So I'm handling all of that. Sometimes it's merged into the content. Sometimes it's just a separate slide. But I make sure that whenever the price is presented, there's no insecurities. They're ready to buy.
You're addressing these objections ahead of time. How are you involving them in that process? Are you asking them questions all throughout that they're relating to this and that you're speaking to it right there and then?
Yeah. I try to ask a lot of questions. I also have, I'm reading from the chat. I try to also remember their names. So I'm like, yeah, what Lisa said before, this is a good example of that. So I try to really be engaged in the chat so they will feel like I'm really caring about them, because I do. And one thing that I also do is that I ask them the question in the end of the transition to the pitch. I ask them you have two options. The first option is to do it by yourself, because I'm not going to lie to you, you can do this by yourself. I mean, if you have the time and if you have the money that you eventually lose for doing it by yourself, of course you can do it. Some people like to spend a lot of time creating their courses.
Some people like to spend a lot of time and a lot of money to figure it all out themselves.
Exactly. And I don't say it's wrong. I just say that some people works differently. They don't have the time. So I try to say that in a way so they don't feel like I'm making them feel stupid, But I'm asking them do you want to do it by yourself and, test and trial? Or do you want to have my proven framework that gave me this and this and this? And you will get the whole, what should the price cost? What will I name it? All of that. Which one would you pick?
I want to pause you here for a second, because just hearing you talk this through, I'm noticing a pattern. And the pattern is you're asking questions that they're answering either, overtly in the chat, like, so they're typing out their answer, or they're answering these subconsciously.
Yeah.
Like, even the way you frame that up, are you the kind of person that would want a proven plan or to figure it out yourself? They're like, well, of course I want the proven plan. Are you the kind of person that wants to take your time and figure it out slowly over the next several months? Or are you the kind of person that wants it fast? Well, of course I want it fast. So you're asking the questions and you're framing up the questions where they're answering yes or no.
Yeah.
Either consciously or subconsciously.
Exactly. I do the same in sales pages as well. So I frame it the same way. I'm making them feel like the decision is theirs subconsciously. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so you get to the offer, you present the offer, and you've answered a whole bunch of objections before you got to that point. You present the offer. Is there anything that you're doing when you're presenting the offer that is unique and different?
I don't tell them the price is. I always say investment is a big difference in how they would feel about the price. And also, like, when I presented the price, I always pause for a little bit. Some people are having a hard time going into pitch because they are very insecure of the sales, the vacuum.
It's $270.
Exactly. So they would like try to compensate, or like, and you can split the payment in 3 if you want to, and it's a really good price. They try to like explain that investment is really good because it's scary to tell the price, right? Even though it's only $270. I will pause for a little bit and just give them my calmest face, just me trying to be neutral. It sounds so scary, like manipulative. It's not. It's just that I want to give them this safe and warm feeling, like this is your investment for creating a change in your life.
Yeah.
This is the investment, and this could be the start. I tell them the price, I pause, and since we have the contest, they will say, oh my God, the price is so good. so that's good. And then after that, I will present the bonuses as well. So I always have a bonus that will expire when the webinar expires. So that will disappear like 15 minutes after I present the price.
Okay, this is important. So there's a component of the offer that has a bonus that disappears at the end of the webinar.
Yes.
So they must buy before the end of the webinar to get that bonus.
Yes. When I sell high ticket, I don't do the fast bonus, act fast bonus, only for offers below $1,000.
So you've got this fast action bonus. Now they've seen the offer and you've got people still engaging in the comments.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking through that, they're going to want to stay because they're going to want to see who wins.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this is part of the stay strategy.
Yes. I present the winners after everything is done.
I see.
So I will also I will do a Q&A in the end, and I don't have the numbers in my head, but it's rarely many people leaving before
the winners announced.
Yeah. So that is also a part of my webinar framework, that they will stay as well.
I also know that you do some creative things with deadlines after the fact. So we've got a deadline here for people on the webinar to buy before a certain period, before the webinar is over, to get that bonus. But talk to us a little bit about what happens after the webinar, because you do a phenomenal job of following up with people after the webinar itself.
Yeah. If I'm doing a launch, like there's maybe a temporary Facebook group or pop-up group, or if I have a coaching week, I will always do, since I don't offer replays, sometimes I will do a summary of the webinar the day after. So I will create like a 30-minute webinar that is adjusted with not including the bonus.
Okay.
The bonus that would expire the day before. So sometimes I include that, but it's just a summary. It's not the replay. There's a difference. And then I will give them another bonus that will expire 24 hours after. So they will basically get a new chance of buying the offer.
How are you tracking all the deadlines and all that kind of stuff for people watching and listening, thinking, okay, but how's she tracking all of these deadlines?
Yeah, so I'm using Deadline Funnel for that, and you can merge that, so you can have emails with the Deadline Funnel, and it's the same countdown for your sales page. So if you include the Deadline Funnel inside your email, that will be the same Deadline Funnel, the same countdown on the sales page. So it will be.
I see. So if they, after the fact, click the link in the email, get taken to the sales page, and before it said that there were 11 hours left, it's going to say that there are 11 hours left on the sales page itself. So everything's all coordinated.
Yes, exactly.
And Deadline Funnel handles all of that.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Then you, in the email follow-up, how do you structure that email follow-up? What are you saying? What are you doing there?
Honestly, I do evergreen webinars and I have a follow-up sequence for that. But when I'm in launch mode, the only thing I'm doing, like after a webinar and a coaching week, I would go for my like regular launch emails. But to be honest, if you did a specific webinar for a pop-up group and you had this limited bonus, it's not a rush to the spots after that, because they know that they missed something, especially if they missed the 24-hour bonus as well. So it's mostly like they will be at the list. I don't do very much with those who didn't buy. Sometimes I email them, I'm asking like, why didn't you buy? That's what I do. But I have another sequence in my evergreen automation that I do.
Okay, so let's talk about that. What do you do? You can't tease me with this secret sequence and then not tell me about it. So what's the sequence?
Yeah, so above my live webinars, I also have a funnel that I'm using right now that's working really well. And I have, it's the same webinar that I teach live, but I do it in evergreen. It's adjusted to evergreen. So they know that it's pre-recorded. And during this video, I will give them the opportunity to buy my course for $270. I have the same framework, the same strategies. Of course, I don't sell at 44%, but it's quite good either way. And they have, when they watch the webinar, they get 24 hours to see the video. I don't tell them this in advance. Because I know that if they know that they're only 24 hours, they will maybe wait to sign up. But I want them to really take the time to watch. So I don't tell them that. And then afterwards, they will look at the video and during 24 hours. And after that, there's a button in the end of the page saying, "Are you ready for the next step?" So when they press that button, they will be sent to the sales page for the course. And there they have 20 minutes until a bonus expires.
I just want to chat with you for a minute because I know Emelie's breaking this all down and there are a ton of like steps. And you're probably, if you're watching this or listening to this while, you're away from the computer, you might be thinking, oh my gosh, am I going to remember it? Good news. We have created a one-page summary of all the steps with visual diagrams so that you'll know exactly what to do. All you got to do is click the QR code or the link in the description, and you'll be able to go and download that where we'll summarize it all for you. So just sit back and relax. All right, Emelie, so now let's talk about ads because here's another crazy stat of yours. In your most recent campaign, you spent a whopping $3,000 to generate an amazing $50,000 plus in revenue. So you're spending $3,000 and making $50,000. What are you doing with your ads?
I have 4 different angles in my ads as well. So since people are responding differently to the different kind of like messaging, I'm doing like one emotional ad where I usually talk to the mother that's very overwhelmed. And one headline that I'm using is, "Mom, do you really need to work again? Like, are you working again?" So I'm pushing those buttons a little bit, but I try always to be like, I'm always reflecting back to my own. I have 3 kids under 6. So I'm always talking about how to be a business owner and a mom at the same time. So I'm always reflecting back on myself so they feel like I understand you. It's not just sales strategies. And then the second one is that I talk about numbers. It's all in the hooks, right? Yeah. So I drop some numbers in the beginning. And that's very like provocative to be Sweden. If I would say like, you could earn this much. Not everyone will respond well to that, but like I'm all for like attract and repel. I think it was Jasmine Star. I learned that from the first time. It's like attract or repel. So I always repeat that to myself. Like it's good if they have a reaction either way.
That's great for everybody to hear that.
Yeah. So I'm not afraid of giving people a feeling about me because I want them to feel something. I want them to have an opinion about me, even if it's bad. So that's good. And then I will use a FOMO FOMO pillar where I will talk about like, there's a new year. We are this many months in, and did you do what you said you were going to do when the new year began? Because everyone will feel that like I didn't do all of those things I said. Like we're like few months in now, so I'm giving them a bit stress about that. And then I will also talk about
identity. What I know is one for you.
Yes,
so
thank you.
And I've heard you say that before, like an identity ad. What is that?
We really like to be liked by people, right? It's important for us. So for the identity, I would talk about how do you want people to think about you? How do you want people to talk about you? And what is your identity? Like you want to be admired. You want to be this successful person that just makes it look so easy. So I will talk about it to her, like, how would it feel for you to just be the successful person and everything comes so easily for you? I would communicate it like this. You are a business owner. You are successful and you didn't come this far because you chose the simplest way, right? You've come this far because you really put the time and the effort in. You are that person. You're not here for quick fixes or the most easy way. You are a person who really wants to do the work to get the results. And they like that because they can connect to that. Because they don't want to be the person who like just whining and, I didn't get any sign-ups. They want to be the person who like, you will
putting
do the
an effort and is getting a result.
They want people to see them like that. I will communicate to that and also talk about the opposite of it. So they will also respond very well to that.
It's interesting in just hearing you break down your ads. Like you said, you had the emotional ads, you had the business outcome ads, you had the FOMO ads, and you had the identity ads. And when I hear you say that, I think that so many people have a focus on creative, meaning like the design of the ad or the picture in the ad or the video itself. I have not heard any of that from you. It's all been about messaging and the messaging and the importance of the different types of messaging. Talk to me a little bit about the creative, because I know you are a very creative person. You built a whole career helping photographers, so it's in your DNA. So I can imagine that these are like beautiful cinematic ads. Am I right?
Yeah, but so for these 4 different angles, it's very different. They're very different, the 4 different kinds. One would be like a video of me, like a selfie video, very scrappy, with like the regular video
So
format.
wait a minute, it's not like this high production thing?
No. You want it to look like any other post. You don't want it to look like a commercial. It must feel like very like natural and, relatable. So I would do like a selfie video, and most often I just create like a headline with a little bit provocative headline, like the thing that I talked about, like we're 3 months in, we're 4 months in. What did you do? What have you done so far? So that's like one angle I have. Another creative could be like a before and after picture. I use a lot. It works really, really well if you can do that in your industry.
So what's an example like?
Yeah, so maybe if you're teaching social media, you could do like a before and after of the feed, like how the feed would look like after they purchased your service. For me, it could be like how it looks before you learn my framework in sales. So I could show like a statistic from Thrivecart saying 0 sales, and then the after would be like a lot more sales. So that could be an ad that works really well as well. I also work a lot with like a picture of me, simple picture of me with toned dark background color, and then just a white text with something like
a bold headline.
Yeah, exactly. So that's mostly how I create it. So it's not very, it doesn't look very fancy.
Yeah.
Like it's very simple selfies. They work really well.
And that's what I'm hearing. And my takeaway is that it doesn't look like a commercial and it doesn't look like an ad.
No.
It looks like a piece of content
Yes.
that they would see in their feed anyway.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Super powerful. As we wind down, I want to talk to you because in the last year, your business has grown considerably. And you and I have had many conversations that many times it's not about the strategies and the tactics. It's so much about like the mindset. And I'm wondering if you can kind of speak to that, because there are a lot of people watching and listening that maybe have plateaued in their business and they are doing all the things and they're trying hard and they're putting in the effort, but they're just not getting past that milestone. You broke through in the last couple of years. Talk to me about the difference that your mindset has made, and what did you change, or what happened there?
Yeah, so it all started at one of our mastermind meetups in Portugal, where you gave us the book, The Big Leap. And I've always been like, I've been in the business and like 16 years, like 17 years. I launched my first online course 16 years ago.
Wow.
So I've been in the business for a long time. And I always thought secretly, I thought that mindset was a little bit woo-woo. I was like, I don't need any mindset. I am so, I have so much knowledge. But I realized like slowly when I became older, I realized like, okay, mindset is pretty powerful when you can like use it. So after reading the book, I realized that I had so many limited beliefs.
Really?
I was shocked to finding out.
What would be an example?
Oh yeah, for the money for sure.
Like how so? How so?
No, but I would sabotage subconsciously when I reach a specific level. So I had like a 100K launch in 2024. I had two 100K launches. And after that, I was just ghosting my business for several months.
And what's interesting about this is like, oftentimes we don't even realize we're doing this.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I was like making all of these excuses, oh, but I made so much money, I don't need to launch now, and almost feeling guilty for making that much money. And also like, I come from a family, we never been poor, but we didn't have much money growing up. So it's like, for me, I think that I felt like guilt in some way for my parents for making a lot of money. And I felt that I had a hard time to handling that. But the thing that I did now that I worked really hard with the last year is to really try to work. I have a mantra that I use. It's like, what's triggering me, it's not stronger than my intuition and what's true for me. So I repeat that to myself very often. Like, it's okay to get triggered. It's okay to feel fear, but it doesn't overcome the feeling of my truth and why I'm doing this. I don't need to be understood from someone else. I need to understand myself. If I understand myself, that's the most important thing. I don't need anyone else to understand or accept me.
What's interesting is, you and I go back and forth in the DMs all the time, and I love your messages because you're always keeping me updated on what's happening. And I think the messages that I enjoy the most is I love hearing about, your financial success and your campaigns and your promotions. Like, your numbers are amazing. But I think some of your most meaningful messages are the ones where you're like, I'm a different person.
Oh, yeah.
And because the reason that fires me up is just, I know what that is going to make possible, Exactly. Like I've unlocked so much. Like for this year, I've earned like more than I did the first 6 months. I earned 2 months in this year. Wow.
So it's been like mind blowing for me. And I just try to rely on my intention and like what's true in me and like what my message is and why I'm doing this. And also, you always say, Stu, like the more money you make, the more impact you can do. So I'm also thinking about that because I'm like charity is a big part of my business. So I get fired up by the thought of be able to help more people. Like I have a dream to be able to be like a shark, that can help people, but I don't do it for the revenue. I do it because I can with my money, so to like help business owners to get started. So I feel like I just lean back to that, and that makes me feel much safer doing all of those crazy things where I have my 44% webinars, I feel much safer when I have that truth.
Well, it's been amazing to watch your journey, buddy. And you touched on something that you have a young family. And one of the things that I know to be true for you is spending time with your kids is really important.
Yeah.
And so you've created boundaries around how much you work. I'm wondering if you can kind of speak to the parents in the audience who are watching, who are trying to balance like growing this business and they're ambitious and they're driven and they want to grow the business. At the same time, they want to be present parents for their kids. How have you reconciled those two things?
Oh, that's such a good question. I only work like 4 to 5 hours per day, and my husband is a stay-at-home dad. He's an engineer, so it's a bit provocative that he's stay-at-home dad. But the thing that I've learned from this life, because I used to be a hustler, I used to work like 12, 13 hours per day, and I didn't feel valuable enough if I worked less than that. I was like really valuing myself after the work time. What I come to learn when getting these kids, my kids are 6, 4, and 2, is that I cannot do it all. Like, this day is for the kids. That means the work will come to second place. Like, today, my priority is to do fun things with the kids. That means I'm not able to create a whole funnel this day. I'm not able to, create my whole webinar presentation today. Maybe I will check into Slack and talk to the team. That's that's enough. And the next day, I will create my presentation and I will not hang out as much as I like with the kids. And that's fine. So I try to this day is for the kids, this day is for work, and not trying to squeeze everything into one day, because that's a mistake I see all the time, that people are trying to get it all, And also one thing that really made a change for us is to our garden. It doesn't look good, to be honest. it doesn't look good, Stu. And I came to peace with that. It's I'm choosing. Of course, we could pay for help. Yeah, I know that. But it's I came to peace with, our home is not the cleanest on the street, and our garden is not the most beautiful garden you've ever seen, but I took time to paint with my daughter today, or I took time to build with Lego with my son, and that's more important. And I think we need to remind ourselves about that. It's not about the fancy Thailand trips or all of that. It's just to take the time to be present with your kids. And I have 2 phones. I have one private phone and one work phone. I will leave my work phone on my desk when I leave. I don't have Instagram on my private phone.
Wow.
I don't have any work at all. It's just a phone. It's just a phone. And also reminding yourself that it's okay that it takes a little bit more time. Because we're so restless. It's okay that this presentation, maybe this week it will take a little bit longer, and that's okay. Do not value yourself from that. You're doing good enough.
As we wrap up, what final thoughts do you have for the entrepreneurs watching and listening that we talked about webinars today in a big way? And what final thoughts would you have for them? They want to get their webinar to the next level. Where should they put their focus?
I would say really get clear on your customer.
Yeah.
Really find out what are they struggling with, what are their objections. Ask them, talk to them, interview them, really get to know them deep, because there you have all the answers. And also remind yourself that you are not salesy. You are just trying to help them. So just switch your mindset to trying to lure them into your offer. And instead think about, I'm making them, I'm giving them something. I'm learning. They're getting something from me that is
valuable. Sales
is
a service.
Yes.
As my friend Barry Baumgartner would say, and that's really well said. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for opening up. Thank you for breaking down your whole process. Where can people go to connect with you?
Yeah, so I'm at Instagram, Her Fearless Focus, and also herfearlessfocus.com.
Amazing. Emelie, that was awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Stu.
That was Emelie Bernborg. Now, if this episode shifted how you think about webinars, ad spend, or what's actually possible inside of a launch, then hit subscribe, because we got new episodes that drop every single week. I put together a free resource kit with Emelie's 44% live conversion webinar system, her 4-angle ad framework, and her 10-day promo window. Just scan the QR code or grab the link in the description. Now, next week, we're talking to Ricardo Textera. He's also going to be talking about webinars and how he used the AI live phone call, and it boosted his show up rate. Plus his 8-digit workbook password that keeps people coming back for 3 days straight, and the $12,000 sale his team closed after a $2,000 offer got rejected. And we're getting into how he engineered every single piece of it and what changed the day he stopped running 5 launches a year. You won't want to miss this, especially if you're getting burnt out with launches. It's a great episode. See you next time.